Sexual attractiveness is highly valued among other factors by which our brain orients our dominance. It determines the formation of our hormonal background and self-esteem. Many people may say, "I lack sexual success and the vibrant energy and desire to change the world or something else." I want to tell you, stop, dear subscriber. Do you remember that our brain does not differentiate between imaginary and real? For the limbic system of the brain, every pornography viewing session is a complete mating, and it's not just mating. You don't even need to make an effort to receive this sexual stimulation. A few clicks, and it's done. Within one evening, an ordinary person can see a huge number of naked women and have sexual contact with them from the perspective of the limbic system. Our great-grandfather did not see as many women in his entire life as we can see in one night. Every time we fantasize, we think and imagine how we will have sex with a woman or do something else. For our brain, this is a fully fledged sexual act that determines our sexual success. The question is closed. We are fine with it, we can relax. I want to remind you that the brain only works in such a mode. It functions only negatively and negatively. Right now, everything is bad, and we need to work. Wait, did it just get good, or am I mistaken? Good. Let's turn everything off and stop producing hormones and neurotransmitters. It's time to enjoy. Every time we achieve food resources, warmth, and sexual success, our brain starts producing hormones that dull our consciousness. These hormones include relaxants, internal alcohol, and even morphine. Perhaps you've heard of morphine? It is named after the ancient god of sleep, symbolizing thoughtfulness, ignorance, and illusions. I want to emphasize again how important this is. When we achieve biological success, not social but specifically biological, our brain starts producing hormones that dull our consciousness. It can be said that these are narcotic hormones that cause addiction to the actions that led to their production. Imagine a person who ordered food delivery, ate, and his brain releases morphine and internal alcohol. Why? Because he didn't do anything. He didn't pick up a spear, didn't hunt mammoths, didn't even go to the store. That's why the reinforcement is very strong. The same applies to pornography and fantasizing. I also want to tell you about the Coolidge effect. Studies have been conducted to understand sexual behavior in animals, and I won't go into all the details. I'll just say that if a male rat capable of mating is placed in a cage with a female, he fertilizes her and no longer shows interest. He has passed on his genetic material, and now everything depends on her, whether she becomes pregnant or not. The male does his job and freely roams without showing further interest in the female. If the female is replaced with a new one, the rat will fertilize her and once again lose interest. One of the main conclusions from the Coolidge effect is that each new sexual stimulus creates an increasing need for new stimuli in the organism. Ultimately, rats die. The resources of the male rat's organism are depleted, and from the perspective of its biology, death during mating is a worthy reward because the main biological purpose is the continuation of the species. Why should I live long if it's unknown whether females will be in my life? If I can now fertilize such a large number of females. And this is what happens to young men, when they watch pornography. They watch one video, get aroused, achieve sexual satisfaction, and no longer want to watch that video. Then they open another video and the process repeats. With prolonged practice of this harmful activity, a tendency towards perversions arises. A person develops excessive fantasizing, and they lose the ability to derive pleasure from real interaction with women because real women are not like those they see in pornography. Thus, sexual abstinence is one of the powerful tools to keep your brain in shape, to stay hungry, and to keep your consciousness clear. There are a few simple rules to make sexual abstinence absolutely effective and without side effects. Firstly, when a person begins sexual abstinence, their testosterone levels start to rise. If a person has high aromatization into the female sex hormone estradiol, then all the produced testosterone will convert into estradiol, and the person will lose the desire to hunt and achieve goals. Therefore, it is necessary to reduce aromatization. After you start sexual abstinence, you need to control the aromatization into estradiol. Your reproductive system is used to being always active and producing resources. It will continue to do so out of inertia, and you just need to wait for 3, 4, maximum 5 weeks to maintain the desire for porn, fantasizing, possibly having sex, and so on. You just need to endure it, and it will pass. The thing is, the body has homeostasis and its own plan. If we used to ejaculate 3 times a day before, a sudden cessation of this process causes a system failure that needs to be corrected. How do we correct it? We add resources and say, let's do it more intensively. If we endure and several weeks pass, the body already understands that the conditions have changed. It's similar to a situation where you had 30 sexual partners, and suddenly it became 0. Initially, it causes shock, but over time, you get used to it. It's the same here. You just need to adapt temporarily. Your abstinence may be accompanied by stagnant phenomena in the form of blood rushing to our pelvic organs and not receding. To eliminate these phenomena, it is recommended to perform Kegel exercises for the pelvic floor muscles, which help to draw blood away and eliminate stagnation. It is also beneficial to use a hot bath, which helps to eliminate stagnant phenomena. If you start abstaining, eliminate fantasizing, reduce aromatization, avoid pornography, and prevent stagnant phenomena, sexual abstinence becomes a powerful tool that can transform a weak person into a more confident and self-assured individual. Confidence, goal setting, and the ability to work productively depend on how a person feels in unfavorable conditions. Sexual abstinence allows us to corner our brain and body, which compels them to change and provide us with the necessary resources, such as neurotransmitters and hormones, to restore our sexual prowess. That is why in ancient times, warriors would have a feast after a battle, with plenty of food, plenty of women, and warmth, to positively reinforce the previous combination of actions in their brains. Please note that the translation provided above is generated by an AI language model and may not be perfect.